Hello everyone, welcome along today. That clock is a little bit slow, so it's just on 10 o'clock, so let's get our meeting underway. I'm going to hand over to Councillor Kimura for opening the here or inspirational reading.
We'll start my te reo classes to you, so I suppose practice. I'll start with a bit of a karakia. He honori, he gloria, he maungaru ki te whenua, ki te whenua ki ngā tangata ki tō. Hanga i tātua i ngā kauhau, ki roto ki tēnā o mātou, whakatongia tō wairua tapu, hei awhina, hei tui a mātou, i roto i tēnei au kororia ki tēnua tapu.
Apologies to that. Mayor Jonah Brown, Councillor Howe and Councillor Brooks are away today. We'll move down, talking about 6 seconds. Yeah, thank you. Any declarations of interest? No. We haven't got a big agenda today, so we've got a couple of speakers today. I'll hand it over to Ross. Would you like to take the?
I'll take it go first.
No, you'll have to.
I didn't know there was anyone else on the agenda. I thought I know what.
Yeah, you got 5 minutes, so that's all right. We generally try and have speakers come in. So,
I know, but I tried to get on last month's agenda at the last minute, and I wasn't allowed on. So are we having this?
Take a seat, Mr. Palmer, please.
So you don't want to engage in that discussion?
No, you've got 5 minutes, so your 5 minutes to start.
Things I'll submit. One is a assessment of the number of quad bikes in the subdivision, Waitiger subdivision in 2019, and then the numbers as at today. And I'll be handing those in. Seen about a 10-fold increase in the last 6 years. I'm here today to address a few issues in the drifts. At the February council meeting, there were questions about the growth in quad bike numbers. So here's the evidence that you asked for, Mayor, of the growth in quad bike numbers. Like I said, we're close to 50. Likely an undercount because it doesn't include guests, holiday makers, but it's our best estimate. Compounding this problem is projected growth. Many properties in the drifts are still undeveloped, so it's not unimaginable that we'd have well over 100 quad bikes in our community in the next few years after the dune stills out. At the February council meeting, staff were directed to consult with drifts residents about quad bike use in the drifts. Point of this consultation is unclear. In February, staff outlined the options and maintain the status quo or pursue an expensive and uncertain aim of finding a legal way to provide vehicle access to the beach. The second option ignored the reality, and if you somehow find a way to allow vehicles on the footpaths, a dangerous and unlikely outcome, it's still not legal to drive unregistered quad bikes on the roads, and just about everyone out there is doing it. The consensus from people I've talked to is that consultation won't be productive. If there's a will to change a resource intent, there's a process for that. Also in March, it was reported in the ODC minutes that the reported instances of vandalism that took place on Boxing Day and the drifts were referred to police. As of a few weeks ago, police had no record of these cases being forwarded to them. The vandalism took place in December. 2 of the people who took part in vandalism have a prior history of vandalism and harassment in our community. One of them had a talking to from police after threatening me with assault. This same person has cut chains, removed bollards, was part of the Boxing Day vandalism crew. He's also a suspect in other petty crimes in our community. Whether it's from police or council, there has to be accountability and enforcement. And since we know who's responsible, at the very minimum, they need to be told that their behavior won't be tolerated. Ignoring crime and vandalism only encourages more of it. We're not asking for a change, just a change of approach by council to help solve an issue that's been festering in our community for 3 years. Also reiterate that there are inexpensive ways to solve the problem that we have out there. I've outlined these before. I was told 6 weeks ago the council staff are investigating options for repairs from the Boxing Day vandalism. I can tell you that there's strong support amongst those I've spoken with for sending the bill for these repairs to the vandals. Ratepayers shouldn't pay for this when we know who did it. And they're right under our noses. Despite all this, it's been heartening to experience support from across our community from those who understand the long-term impacts of allowing unfettered quad bike use throughout the drifts. Unfortunately, some residents are afraid to speak out due to the harassment and vandalism we have experienced. Finally, again, I want to reiterate, there are several low-cost solutions to fix this problem. There's a clear health and safety issue at the moment. I've got photos and countless photos and videos from over the holidays, from Easter, from whenever you want it, hundreds and hundreds going by my house. It's a recipe for disaster and it needs to be addressed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome to stay.
Nice to ask a question.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Ross, like, there seem to be people for and against it. So try and get the community together. Can you see a compromise to try and sort this out?
I've never been approached by anyone with any ideas for that.
So are you up for a compromise to try and get something sorted here so everyone can live there?
Absolutely, I always have been. I've just stated the position that we need to start from where we are legally. The starting point is what the law is, what the consents say. Then we go from there. But yes, I'm happy to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's a start.
Yeah, but I'm not the be all and end all. There are lots of other people in the community who would want to have a say in that.
Oh, there's people both sides.
Yeah.
And there's for and against.
Yeah.
Somehow we're going to try and sort this out. Because at the end of the day, we can't police it. Not enough police in town. And
but you could put up bollards that stop it happening.
Then they get taken away. So what you're saying that you've seen them taken away. So
yeah, but we know who take. This is not shady unknown criminals coming from the middle of nowhere and taking out concrete. Bringing in big machinery to take out things in the middle of nowhere. This is happening right in front of people's houses with photographs of them doing it. So, people
are going to want to go onto the beach and you're not going to stop them. So somehow we're going to make a compromise here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, my understanding is some compromises have been discussed around other access points to the beach.
And would you be up for that? Is it the exit point by your house is the problem?
That's 50% of the problem, I'd say.
So it's your access point in front of the house?
It's any of the existing access points that make it dangerous for pedestrians, not just my access point. No,
right.
It's about road use and it's about all of the access points. I mean, all the facts are stated very clearly in Gerard's report to council from February. It's all in there. Quad bikes are not allowed. The whole reason consent was granted for that subdivision was based on the fact that vehicle access would be completely restricted.
Mr. Palmer, so yeah, finish with the question? Or,
yep.
I mean, I've got a couple for you actually.
Mm-hmm.
You say you got photos. I mean, I've seen photos of you driving your boat up and down the reserve on a footpath. I don't think that's okay.
But hang on. No, you brought that subject up. Let me respond to that. So that's a separate issue. It's a separate issue.
No, we're talking about
we're talking about a registered vehicle accessing sections for utility reasons, okay. not recreational.
So it's okay for you to drive up and down, but you don't want to.
I'll gladly not drive on that. If you want to make that deal, I'll gladly take my boat out of there, and I won't drive on the reserves anymore.
Mr. Palmer. Stop.
You started the conversation.
Stop. You've answered that, so you're happy to do that.
If all of the quad bikes don't drive on the roads, and I'll gladly make that deal. Right here, I'd sign that deal.
Mr. Palmer, so if we were to get a compromise and actually this is traditionally an area that you access the beach. traditionally people, long before the subdivision, you have got a paper road that runs right across long.
And the consent says no vehicles are allowed on that paper road in front of the
house. Nothing to do with the consent.
Houses.
Nothing to do with the consent. They're from the houses. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Paper roads, nothing to do with it. So traditionally, iwi have accessed the river via Appleton Road and places like that. Then driven back onto the beach. Unfortunately, that does a lot of damage to the beaches.
Yeah.
So and we're working with iwi for a process to access the groins. So there is going to be an access, hopefully at some stage.
Yeah, with how popular that beach is going to be down there.
Yeah. No, my turn. I understand your point about currently where that boardwalk is. One of the great things about that boardwalk is it's protecting the dunes, where the other one, it's not. So it is maybe a very good example of what could be put in place somewhere to have a point for people to access. Because people have been going to the drifts since it was built to access, go down, put their torpedoes in. You might get the odd home. We've banned two-wheel motorbikes from the beach, so that's a good start. We do need more police in our community to help police these issues.
Yeah,
that's something we can work together on. We can't do it as a council. We don't have the resources. We don't have the people to do it. It's not safe to do it.
Yeah.
So if we can work together on finding where it's acceptable for everyone, and hopefully we can move forward. But nothing's going to happen quickly.
Yep.
All right. So
is there any reason that we can't communicate with residents now about what is permitted and what isn't permitted until we reach a compromise solution?
Until we find a solution, I think we're going nowhere with that one. So thank you for your time today, and you're welcome. We have got one gentleman speaking today, and please leave those if you want.
I have a very good gentleman.
Sure. You've got 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor and Councillor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity today. My name is Janine Taylor. This is Mandy Neal. So as requested, we've done a bit of a canvas across the drifts. So I just read through what we've got for the residents. Dear Opotiki District Councillors, we are, as concerned residents and frequent visitors of the Waitahi Drifts community, we're writing to express our collective view on the access of quad bikes and ATVs on our local beach. The council meeting held on February 7th, 2024 outlined the possibility of restricting vehicle access through existing beach accesses. This decision may have been influenced by the opinions of a minority within the subdivision, as well as an assessment of planning documents and subdivision resource consent. However, we argue that this approach does not accurately reflect the community's feelings, nor does it sufficiently consider the impacts of its implementation. We urge the council to explore alternative solutions that prioritise the well-being and the desires of all stakeholders. The discussions during the meeting and the feedback received from residents clearly demonstrate that quad bike and ATV access to the beach is essential to our community's way of life. We are confident that adverse effects, including ecological damage and public safety risks, can be minimised to an acceptable extent. We urge the council to facilitate constructive discussions with all stakeholders, if required, to develop a mutually beneficial solution. The number of quad bike users in the drifts, as indicated by Mr. Palmer, clearly indicates it is a community desire to engage in and partake. This activity can only be described as marginally more than minor effect for minimal days per annum, including Christmas summer period and long weekends. For the remainder of the year, the effects of the quads and side-by-side use are less than minimal. Please find attached a petition representing the more accurate view of the collective community, sincerely concerned residents. So I'd like to submit the support for this over 300 signatures.
Thank you. Any questions? And there's no quick solution here.
I understand.
And a community solution is the ideal one, but we have every partners, we've got regional council, so we've got lots of partners involved in this whole thing, so ideally we find a solution where everyone, you know, there may be a compromise, but hopefully we can find a solution that everyone is happy.
Yeah, as stated, we want to make sure that it's mutually beneficial for everybody. I agree, and we're happy to. The whole 301 signatures are happy to support it.
Yes, and the information from both parties will be obviously getting to start, and we're working on this. But I say we are working on access to the Western Groin. It could be a solution within that, what we're working on there. So
thank you.
I'd just like to add too, though, I think there's quite a number of us that would actually like to assist the council with making sure we don't destroy the dunes, and if it's regarding planting, cleaning up. I was speaking to one of the councils the other day about it. We're more than happy to get together collectively and assist. I live very close to the other main access point, pretty much right on it. And all I see day to day is 95% of residents, the elderly taking their grandkids down there, the elderly taking their grandkids and a torpedo down there. Can't do both of those when we're old. I myself just recently had surgery, would not have been able to get on a beach. So I'm just like, yeah, the majority of people I say, and I see a lot from my viewpoint, are just good people minding their own business, trying to love life.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. All right. Move on to page 4. Confirmation during the council meeting. I'll move this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, that's
You too. Yep.
Any? Thank you. Yes. Any you want to pick up any mistakes?
Shape from me in there. Throughout this process, we've been looking for service level efficiencies rather than slashing and burning, but I think I just said rather than service reductions. Sounded good.
Second row. Yep. All this.
Hi.
Thanks. Thank you. First meeting of April. I'll move this next to one stuff.
Yep, I'll second that. For funding applications there from that meeting really. So it were approved. Yeah. Pretty short meeting.
I had some very good feedback from on Friday.
Yep.
Like, just letting you know.
Yep.
Very much appreciated. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Okay, carried. We're on page 20. Wahiwa Harbour implementation for this. Do I have a?
Yeah.
Did you want to have anything to add?
Yeah, so I got, I'm not added there as present, but I was. So I'll get them to possibly looked at that, but yeah, main thing was, the forum wanted to submit, to both councils, pretty much LTP. Just fundings for the Ohiwa Harbour is the biggest, issue at the moment, but otherwise, yeah, everything else is, rolling on, work programs, they're doing culverts for fish so they can, swim up the culverts and that, so it's, yeah, looking all pretty good, so.
Good stuff, mate.
Yep.
I'll put that in motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Okay. On page 28, opening Civil Defence Emergency Group Joint Committee. Had to attend this by Zoom. Due to COVID in Wanaka. Is one of the interesting things in there was that came to light from of us working on it for us just to get confirmation, but it would seem that we have no monitoring equipment working on Whakaari Island now, and access seems to have been denied, but I'm unsure if that's correct. So that is a bit of a concern to have a volcanic island just off our shores and having no monitoring. So we'll hear back and see what's going on there, but yeah, probably not an acceptable thing to have in our backyard. There's nothing on there.
Very cool. Even I can confirm that I spoke very recently to Doug Leader in regard to that. And yes, the fails are refusing to let GMs on the ground. So that's a huge issue for Cloud Energy.
And it is an issue, and it's not just. I mean, yeah, the only way we're going to know something's happening is when we see it going off. And there's aircraft. It's not just about people on the island. There's lots of things.
So does that come back to, if someone's on the island, that if they get injured, does it come back to the owner's responsibility? Is that where it all comes back to?
Could well be. We don't know. We'll just get an official before we. There's an appetite for the three Eastern Bay councils to raise this a bit further, but we just need maybe some written confirmation of what we've been. I'll move this over. Second, any other questions? I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Against? And page 39, Mayoral report. This about a second up. Any questions? Zone 3, Gisborne is not our zone for LGNZ, but the three mayors from the Eastern Bay were invited over there, and Failing and I attended. Yeah, it was quite a somber meeting, seeing how much they still, the recovery mode over here from Gabriel, and obviously tied up. I mean, they had more than just Gabriel, so it brought home, the challenges they've got, and made us feel a little bit grateful for getting off a little bit lightly, but you never know when it's going to be our turn. The meeting in Wellington, 7th of April, we went there to meet with the local government minister, but unfortunately he got pulled away and he didn't turn up. But we did have we had quite a good few other speakers. So that was one of the reasons for that meeting, is to catch up with them. A few things. Any other questions? I'll put the vote motion if all those in favour. Against. Thank you. And we'll move on to page 43. I'll move this by the second and I'll hand this over to Peter and Gerard. Oh, Billy. I didn't even come close to getting it right, did I? I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, that's for the proposed fees and charges schedule and for consultation, and this is to apply from 1 July. So I'll take the report as read. Any questions?
When were these last fees and charges looked at?
I believe the regulatory ones were at least 2 years ago.
Refresh them all together, and but part of the government drive that we can't finish, we've already set a policy about the license and stuff, but we can't adapt them. Send them little ones. The RMA ones we have to go consultation on, so we tend to do them every 2 to 3 years. So I think it was 3 years ago that we did them last time. And sometimes we've done like the dog bomb, we're not doing the dog bomb this time. So it's not, they're updated every year, it's just not collectively updated. Bits and pieces of updated.
There was nothing to do solid waste and water supply charges last year through the annual campaign.
Can't hide from the fact that all our costs are going up, and it just can't be passed on to the general ratepayers. Some of it has to be shared by the users. So, yeah, it's one of the challenges we're facing.
So, being the cost of the increases are to keep us in line with our funding policy percentages, and it's just really the recovery of costs. It's cost recovery of these fees and keeping us proportionate with our funding policies in regards to those activities that we fund between rates and user payments.
Yeah. So do you compare with other councils on costs, or this is pretty much an internal thing to try and balance our books a bit better for a user pays as to a general rate charge?
Speak to the engineering place. So in terms of water supply, just point number 6 in the background section, page 44. In that space, we're not trying to increase revenue and necessarily for more around reducing the general rate component and moving more towards the user pays approach to the environment, the updates to the revenue and finance policy. And as we've done that, we do check to see what other councils are doing, but the cost to run our system is the cost to run our system, so we don't want to read too much into that. In terms of the solid waste space, the key change here is we're introducing a weighbridge system into the Portakey Township Resource Recovery Centre, which just is basically a change in model to go to a way approach rather than a visual assessment on a volumetric quantity. So that's the key changes in that space. We have also looked at what our neighbours do as well, but again, and they are comparative. But the cost to run our system is to run our system. So we're trying to not just match what others are doing, but what are the costs to run our system, and are we in accordance with our revenue and finance policy and covering our costs accordingly.
Any further questions? Recommendations on page 43. Recommendations there. Page 45. Happy. Just follow this. I'll move that. I'll move this, that we adopt option one. Second.
Yeah, okay.
I'll put that to the vote. Motion to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Thank you. Thank you for that.
Good.
And we're on page 83. Draft freedom of speaking the Bible. We'll move on to draft. I'll move this. I'll have a second.
Okay, yeah, so I'm happy to take the report as read. So this is draft of the Freedom Campaign bylaw to go out to public consultation. Obviously, there's workshop there, kind of reflects what's already existing in the reserve management plans. Page 106 is probably the better page in terms of the process and the projected subject timeline. So to go out to consultation within the next week, engage with the key stakeholders, and see what feedback we get and have a hearing in relation to that. Yeah, with the intention that we'll get it adopted by August and then it'll be enforced for the summer going forward.
Any questions for Gerard?
Report by looks of.
Yeah. We just got the one very contentious one.
Yeah.
We need to be bringing everyone on board for that one. But on the whole, they all work pretty well. Yeah, but we have got one that causes a few headaches.
I think this will help. It will obviously help with the enforcement side of things, but also help with it's pretty black and white. You can and you can't. It's not open to any ambiguity. If you like any good TA land and other public land that's not in our control, something this is
Just one thing. I mean, everyone's using QR codes, but it'd be nice to have a QR code or something that we can. When someone gets to that site, they can just click on it and it shows them the map. You pull up in the middle of the night, that's not clear.
yeah.
I'll put my hand up. I've stayed at the Pippy Pets when I went floundering and in the rugby game. And when I woke up in the morning, there was like another 35, 40 campers had turned up in the middle of the night. It was unbelievable. So I've got no flounders. All right. Thanks for that, Gerard. Recommendations on page 83. Happy with that? We'll move the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Thank you very much. Thank you. No, 7. Rising Main.
Thank you. Take the report as read. Just mention some of the salient points. Our Rising Main that carries all of the town networks wastewater to the oxidation pond and disposal field is under threat by river erosion. The Rising Main is approximately 4.5 metres from the river edge. Over the last 10 years or so, it was reduced significantly down to that distance. Historically, well over 70 metres away, the Rising Main was from the river edge. So there's been a lot of changes in that space. But we're working on a number of options around working with regional council to look at options to reduce the rate of erosion. Those are going to take time. And it is my recommendation that we approve unbudgeted expenditure to allow our team to relocate the rising main, to get some buffer between the rising main and the river's edge, just because of the criticality of the asset. And we do not want to be in a scenario where the rising main is exposed by the river. Happy to take any questions or speak to the range of options that were presented in the report.
I haven't got any questions, but I just want to say, I mean, it isn't here gradual, but it's actually been, it's been hard to believe how rapid the erosion has been. Well, I just want to touch on, we have built a pretty good working relationship with our fellow regional council, but I'm a little bit, yeah, I'm not sure what the words are described, but I'm quite shocked that they, you know, don't think this is a problem they should be sharing with us. So it's something that's been forced on us. It doesn't even pay to think about the consequences if we don't move it, and that pipe breaks into the main river. So not really a question, sorry, just a comment.
Yeah, so it's not ideal spending that kind of money to shift it, but yeah, hopefully regional council in the near future going to step up and help us out of it. Sort the problem out.
Any questions for us? No. I'll move this one if I have a second. Yeah, I should have done this before. All right, no further questions? No. I don't believe we've got a lot of choice in this one.
Yeah.
The consequences aren't. It doesn't pay to even think about it. So I'm happy to move this and get it to the vote.
So option three.
Option three. Any other? Yep. You happy with option three?
Yep.
I'll move that we put the motion with that option three.
Yeah, I'll see.
And yeah, the motion, all those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Move on to page 120. This one, right? Report.
115.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, so
Yep.
Bad bunch going down there.
Yeah, Worship. I'll take the report as read. But I'll just make a few comments. The local government conference, NZ conference, will be in Wellington this year from the 21st to the 23rd of August, the annual conference. Councillors attend on a rotation basis. And this year it's proposed that Councillor Brooks and Councillor Kemera attend. Councillor Brooks couldn't attend last year, so it's been offered this year, along with His Worship and myself. So yeah, the report is about those nominations. Speaking of
Possible to go even like taxpayer your own.
Yeah. And that's happened before. I think Louis previously done that. So if a councillor who's not on the list to be funded through the council can go paying their own way.
we are driving back, so so yeah, you might get a flight here, but we are driving back. So if you can go, I really recommend you come along to this one. It's going to be interesting one. One more.
I'd probably be quite interested to.
Yeah, it's
No, good on.
Yeah, it's a definite. Encourage anyone to go to them if you can.
Yeah, well, it's going to.
So if you looked at going, when would you need to know
I would like to know by the end of the week, so I can do all the questions. It's quite involved, and
yeah,
if you don't get in earliest, you miss out on all the good things, you know. You might not be able to go to workshops you wish to attend, might have to stay further away from the venue and all that. So logistically, it's better to get in there.
Councillor Brooks was replaced by Councillor Howe last year, so that's why he's going this year. Probably better if, because Councillor Kimura I go, maybe I'll leave it to you if you want to move it and second it.
Yeah. I'll move it.
But yeah, definitely come along if you can. Everyone happy with that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Motion for the vote. All those in favour? Thanks. Yeah, okay. Move on to the chief executive report, page 20. I'll move this one and the second one. Yep.
Thank you, Richard. Again, take the report as read. Couple of highlights that I'd like to touch on. One is I attended the Eastern Bay Plenty Road Safety Operations Group meeting. I haven't attended for a while, and it's really good to get back in the fold there, and a really productive meeting to the point where we're hoping to get some additional works funded along Bridge Street. So yeah, really beneficial to go along to those meetings, and road safety is a really important issue. Also progressing discussions with Whakapohia and Bay of Plenty Regional Council representatives about the access, and it was touched on this morning. So trying to come up with solutions to make sure we can get access to the Western Groin, but also looking at opportunities to resolve some of those issues that were raised this morning. Yeah, happy to take any questions.
Any questions? Further questions? Or the motion button. All those in favour? Thanks. We're going to bring them to confidential, but it's only going to be 5-10 minutes. So you're welcome to come back if you'd love to come back after. Yeah. Resolution to of the second and then to public exclusion.
Aye.